was 13 years old when I entered care.
2 years old when I came into foster care.
I was 8 years old when I entered foster care.
I came into foster care when I was 15.
I came into foster care when I was 4 years old.
The age 3 to about 15.
I came in because of dependent neglect.
Neglect.
I was neglected by my parents.
There were some neglect issues.
My parents had left me, and my sister who had been taking care of me couldn't take care of me anymore, so she had to give me up to the state.
My mother wasn't able to take care of me due to her mental illness.
My parents, they felt like they couldn't take care of me.
And basically my mother was psychotic and substance abuser.
Each year in our country, over 25,000 kids in foster care reach their 18th birthday without finding a permanent family. For them, 18 is an immediate transition into adulthood. These children entered foster care for reasons beyond their control. Now at 18, they have aged out of the system and face a world with little support. Many do not even have one caring adult in their lives who they can count on. No one to help them get that first job or show them how to apply for college or financial aid. They often find themselves with nowhere to live and no one to turn to. As a result, youth who age out of foster care are at the highest risk for homelessness, unemployment, and incarceration. Every young person you will meet in this film grew up in foster care and lives here in Tennessee. Some found their forever family while others aged out and were on their own at 18. They're all part of Fostering Success, an initiative which creates better futures for foster youth by providing opportunities and opening doors.
I entered custody and went to a foster home and stayed in one foster home for a little while and went to another one, but that only lasted a few months. And then I entered a group home and lived there from just before I was 14 until I aged out of custody.
There are things many kids take for granted that foster youth don't have. One is privacy. One is knowing who's going to be in your home when you get home, living there with you.
It was really like scary not knowing where you were going to go tomorrow.
My siblings were changing all the time and it was very strange.
I say about 6 different elementary schools, 5 different middle schools, and 2 different high schools.
21 foster homes my whole entire life.
Me having to switch up friends all the time, you became a little detached from everything because you were scared, well, I may not be here for a while. I may only be here 2 or 3 months, so I'm just gonna go ahead and, just not say anything or not try to interact with anybody.
This kind of kept me to myself. So whenever I went to school, I was very shy, to talk to people.
With me switching schools, it put me real behind with mathematics.
It really messed me up. Like when I actually did settle down in a high school, I didn't have the fundamental things that I needed. It affected my self-esteem, and I thought I was not intelligent at all because I wasn't able to perform in the classroom like other students.
I feel that what most foster kids miss out on is basically being a normal kid.
All my friends, they got to do lots of things, spend the night over at each other's houses and stuff like that. I just never had that opportunity.
I don't know, still like not being able to be 16, that was a challenge.
Finding housing for me was very hard because, for one, I didn't have a car and I didn't have any money to access MTA, so I basically had to walk within distance for me to try to find somewhere, or I would have to try to bum a ride with a friend.
The biggest issue I faced when coming out of care was learning where all the money went.
One of the biggest things I've learned that I didn't know was how to budget money, because I never had money to budget, so.
I took some financial management classes from the Opportunity Passport, and those were really useful. They taught me how to set aside money when you get it for bills that would come up later.
They open up an IDA savings account. They'll match you up to $1,000 per year for something that'll help towards your future. Down payment on a house, a car, tuition for school.
Even though I was in college, I still needed some support. I still needed to know, now that I'm 18, I need to file my own taxes. What do I do?
It's rather difficult for children in state's custody to find a job because they don't have the ties or the relationships or connections that people who have families and uncles and aunts who own a store or work at a construction company who can get them on part-time or any of that.
Permanency is an important word to me. It means that you don't have any worry or fear of where you're going to be the next day.
To me, it just means having like a relationship with someone when you get married. Is the foster parent going to be there when you have kids, when you graduate, things like that, just like a permanent relationship.
I don't know where I would be if I didn't have such a headstrong, wonderful lady, such as my adoptive mom, advocating for me.
There's so many little things that can happen that can make a person homeless pretty quickly, especially for foster youth. I've often explained, if you're in college and you fail out of your classes, obviously you can't stay in the dorm anymore, you just go home to your parents. Foster youth don't have that option. If we fail a few classes, we're homeless. It doesn't take much.
I love the fact that I have a place that I can call home, and you know, and people that I can call a family. It helps out a lot, because without support, you know, you really don't have anything.
I kind of slept in my car and snuck into my friend's back door so that their parents wouldn't know I was there, because I wasn't allowed to be there, and just kind of stayed in hotels on credit cards. And I graduated with a whole lot of debt. Because of doing this. It was really hard. I worked 2 and 3 jobs all the way through school, trying to make enough money to pay for my shampoo and all the things you need when you're in school that scholarships don't pay for, and then also save up enough money to try and pay off credit cards so that I wouldn't be completely homeless. Although now I realize I was, even though I was in a hotel in a car. At the time I didn't think I was homeless, and it really hurt to have a Christmas break and not have a place to go. And no one really came up to me and cared to ask me, where are you going?
It's important to me to be a part of the Tennessee Youth Advisory Council because it helps me voice my opinions. Because I know when I was young and in foster care, I was very afraid to voice my opinions.
To me, the TYAC is important because it gives me a chance to express my opinions about everything that's going on around me.
You actually have a voice and say, you know, well, I don't feel this is right. Or what I like to call it is you're an advocate for those who don't have a voice. You're a voice for those who can't speak up. And I'm so glad that I'm on. I'm privileged, I'm honored actually.
The person that has been real important in my life is my mentor. She has been there with me since basically when I came in custody. She's been there for me, telling me that, you know, I can do anything I set my mind to, and I just keep it in my head at all times.
You know, just to give a few hours a day to show that you care, it helps out a lot.
And the community could help a lot. You don't have to be a foster parent to be a help to a foster child. Like, we need mentors and things like that.
I think the faith-based community is a very good place to start because a whole lot of youth are connected with somebody in their church.
Across Tennessee, people just like you are helping these young adults build brighter futures by serving as foster parents, relative caregivers, mentors, advocates, and volunteers. No matter how much time you have to give, there is something you can do to make a child's life story a good one.
Hopefully to go to college, probably going to graphic design.
I plan on going to college in New York and majoring in theology because I want to be a theology professor.
I want to be a doctor.
I plan to graduate and go to law school.
There are so many ways you can open a door for foster youth.
You can be a mentor to foster youth.
Will you help provide me a job?
Maybe you can be a foster parent.
Will you open the door for me?
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 Will you open up a door for me?
Will you open the door for me?
Would you open a door for me?